Ladies and gentlemen, this is a huge development within the Durham probe special counsel. Remember the Mueller probe? Remember that how millions and millions of people were glued to the latest developments of the Mueller probe special counsel. It was Mueller time, and they found nothing. Literally nothing. Any weak association or some kind of leap of logic that they tried to use to justify the fact they found nothing still points to zero indictments for anyone conspiring or working alongside an intelligence official of another country to interfere in 2016. Never happened. The only indictments from the Mueller probe was, you lied to the FBI. Well, so did Andrew McCabe. But he was in charge. That's a whole other story. We have 3 indictments in the Durham probe special counsel specifically because Kevin Kleinsmith, Igor Danchenko, and Michael Sussman were involved in setting up and framing Trump. That's like the Durham probe special counsel is specifically designed to find out why Trump was investigated, because the investigators initially found nothing, but all of media, intelligence officials were certain that he had been installed by the Kremlin. That proved to be absolutely false, and by the way, the quote-unquote evidence was literally purchased by the Clinton campaign and the DNC. And the same people who cheated Bernie Sanders are also the same people who are okay with this, which is why the left will really always lose when it comes to major shifts in policy or paradigm. They want to change the world. They can't even have a functioning primary. They literally don't have a functioning primary. By the way, Bernie Sanders might run again in 2024, and he'll get cheated again. And he will serve to funnel left-leaning votes back into the Democratic Party. It's a complete racket. But anyway, latest filing, and this is from Technofog on Twitter. He's an attorney, and I don't have Twitter. I don't have Facebook. My God, I don't like those platforms at all. But every once in a while, you find some very good profiles that use public record information. Public record. So this is the grand jury subpoena from Special Counsel Durham to Georgia Tech, demanding records regarding the Alpha Bank Trump hoax, the purported use of Yoda phones in Trump's vicinity, which was also fabricated. And he says to go ahead and follow another very interesting and intriguing profile, Undead FOIA. And useful FOIAs and worthless thoughts. I get the documents on Russiagate that CNN, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal don't care about. Okay, so if you hit that profile, very interesting, you get grand jury, from Special Counsel Durham to Georgia Tech. And if you look, here's the document. Georgia Institute of Technology, Georgia Tech, Research Institute, Georgia Tech Research Corporations, to whom it may concern, pursuant to a criminal investigation being conducted by the U.S. Department of Justice, it is required that you furnish the requested records as described in the attached subpoena. You may comply with this grand jury, by providing the requested records on or before the indicated date. If you choose to provide the requested records voluntarily, please provide them in non-proprietary electronic format. Also enclosed, please find a blank declaration of custodian records. And they ask for the following. So basically, this is the interesting thing. Not only was Michael Sussman working with a tech executive, he was working with researchers at Georgia Tech and other institutions in Georgia, educational universities. So Georgia Tech and Georgia Institute of Technology, they were using money, government funding, while they were investigating or providing surveillance of Trump to obtain an absurd notion that, for some reason, journalists at the New York Times and other publications don't realize on page 3 Paragraph 7. The FBI's investigation, this is a Sussman indictment, the FBI's investigation of these allegations nevertheless concluded there was insufficient evidence to support the allegations of secret communication channel with Russia Bank 1. In particular, among other things, the FBI's investigation revealed that the email server at issue was not owned or operated by the Trump organization, but rather had been administered by a mass marketing email company that sent advertisements for Trump hotels and hundreds of other clients. And you have articles saying, well, they still don't know why there's a secret communication. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very important segment on the $4 trillion plus of hedge fund assets and untold debt. So you could have just $1 trillion or more, probably a lot more, in debt among hedge funds. Think about that. There's $1 trillion of debt, almost $1.8 trillion in the U.S. stock market. There are now $4 trillion in money that hedge funds have. And now there are compliance issues. It's called Phase 6 of initial margin requirements for hedge funds that have to be implemented in September of this year. You're talking about hedge funds not only in the U.S., around the world. I talk about that basically have to post, they have to ensure they have more collateral and actually use less margin, and notify government agencies when they're losing too much money within a week or 2 weeks, and basically be more transparent pertaining to their derivatives trades and the margin they use to trade these derivatives. It's going to be a complete debacle. That's with interest rates going up, us heading into a recession, energy prices through the roof, and inflation skyrocketing. You do the math on that one. We're heading towards a devastating stock market and financial crash. And I predicted all of that in my Federalist article below in the pinned comment. So hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. That's below in the pinned comment. Right after this segment, please go ahead and watch the Stock Market Crash channel. I do a segment a day at least on that channel. Let's grow that channel. And Indict and Imprison 45, Comedy and Satire. I'll have a segment a little later on this evening. You definitely have to watch that segment. It's funny. But this is what took place. If you go back to, so Undead FOIA is a fantastic site, profile. If you go back to Technofog, the Durham Probe Special Counsel wants information on the purported secret communication channel between the Trump Organization, Spectrum Health, and the Alpha Bank, which never happened. Allegations of purported presence or use of a Russian-made Yodophones, which led to nothing. God forbid you own something that was made in Russia. I mean, my God. And from the period January 2016 to the present, all documents, records, and information reflecting the work, communications, or activities, including work, communications, or activities conducted under and pursuant to contracts with the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. So they were paid by DARPA. They were literally using money from the government, taxpayer dollars, to investigate Trump. Think about that for a second. And hit subscribe to this channel. It's very important. And there's some actually really good profiles. And the reason there's good profiles is they're either attorneys or they're, really good at getting FOIA requests. I'm reading from public record documents, legal documents. You would think people on the left would want, even if they don't like Trump, would want to find out how operatives paid by Clinton and the Democratic Party, working in conjunction with loyalists or people who also wanted to set up and frame Trump within the U.S. government, who are now testifying against the people they worked for alongside. So the Durham Probe Special Counsel is pitting two sides that were working in unison in 2016 against one another. It's within the documents. But you would think that, my God, Bernard Sanders running again in 2024, he's going to get cheated. 2028, he'll get cheated. 2032, he'll get cheated. 2036, he'll get cheated. 2040, he'll get cheated. 2044, he'll get cheated. He's always going to get cheated because the system is a system that goes after the left if a person like Bernie Sanders gets too influential, goes after a person like Donald Trump, who is opposed by not just the Democratic Party, but the Lincoln Project people, Bill Kristol. These are Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld Republicans. Now Tulsi Gabbard is fantastic. I believe she's, suing Mitt Romney and Keith Olbermann for, apparently they accuse Tulsi Gabbard of course, being linked to the Kremlin somehow. This is what I just read quickly. Anyone who has any viewpoint, any dissenting viewpoint, must be linked to the Putin, or is a horrible monster, a prejudiced person, or is just out of their mind. This is the problem with our democracy. See, when they say, I have to defend democracy, what they really mean is their political viewpoints. They can't defend. If you go after Tulsi Gabbard and say that she is, parroting the viewpoint of another country, you're an imbecile who has no understanding of foreign policy, no basic logical reasoning skills. You know nothing about U.S. history, the McCarthy era, Red Scare, Cold War hysteria, and you have no understanding of critical thinking and just basic logic. You cannot refute what Tulsi Gabbard or anyone else is saying by simply saying they're parroting somebody we don't like. You could literally silence any dissent that way on any topic. But anyway, the Durham Probe Special Counsel is going after every third-party tech firm, anyone outsourced, anyone paid by Madam Secretary or the Democratic Party. And it's actually beautiful. These people set up and framed Trump. They weren't working for the United States government. They were working for one purpose, and it's within the Sussman indictment, to frame and set up Trump. We have to appease VIPs. You have to find anything that could ruin him politically. It's actually within the messages. We've talked about that on this channel. He has the receipts, Durham, so to speak. And it's really, if you were paid in any way, shape, or form, with the Clinton campaign or the Democratic Party, you're going to be either indicted or investigated by the special counsel. Also, you probably committed perjury, but that's a whole other story. Hit subscribe to this channel. Right now, go to the Stock Market Crash channel. Right this second, ladies and gentlemen, to my 12-minute crowd, right this second, go to the Stock Market Crash channel. Very important segment today. The market's going up, or it's like we are heading towards a catastrophe. Right now, they're just making money in terms of fees, and I'll explain that in the Stock Market Crash channel. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and go there right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Durham probe is now possibly going to indict researchers or investigate researchers, or has been investigating researchers at universities paid or using government funding in part to engage in surveillance of Trump. It's within the grand jury subpoena and the records. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.